Guys, smoking a coffee. I already have my smoke, and you see my coffee Christmas cup right there. I got some decent espresso in there. Well, it's not exactly espresso, it's my version, kind of. It's French. I use a French pot, make it pretty strong, a lot of nice creamer. Yeah, that, a lot of creamer. Too good. Anyways, this is a new video, pretty much the same thing that the other one I put out there said about the 5G that's coming. This one came out 2 weeks ago.
Processing, computer vision, and predictive analytics. Number 2, 5G technology. 5G technology promises to be a game changer by delivering ultra fast internet speeds, low latency.
Now you see that? That ball? That's the RF waves that they need. Low latency. Everything Mobex has. Leap Award. Then a week later, Aero Global partnership, which doesn't always mean anything because, like I said, they work with a lot of companies, but it falls in too good in there. And then the Broadcom after that, $1 billion some dollar, whatever it was, almost a Broadcom deal with Aero Global to bring this technology out that they've had, but they couldn't do it. Now, some of it might be the P2874 spatial web protocols. Maybe just the protocols are out there now, so it's all coming. I try to tell everybody, but unless you're knowing or have fancy shit. And by the way, those couple good soldiers I have that watch Lucas, I got none against the guy. I love Brits. The way they use that C word, they have so many derivations for it. You gotta love them for that. It can be good, bad, both at the same time, or just a sporting good fucking thing to say to somebody, you know? I won't say it on this, it's a little much. So I just love it. The way they're polite when they're angry. The more polite they are, the more pissed off they could be. You know, Russians could learn something from that. Anyways, let's go on from here. But anyways, I'm sorry, smoking coffee. The stock did not go up because of Lucas, Martin Lucas. You can look at the chart if you think I'm lying or I'm hating. I'm not. What do I got? You know, I mean? I don't ask for nothing. I can show you. If I can pull the chart up, he pumped it with some Elon Musk link for a little bit because I kept checking, you know, because I wasn't a member and I couldn't because my E-Trade card. Then he changed it with there's a correlation. I mean, come on, man. He's an engineer. That was the link. I mean, any fucking body knows that already. That does due diligence. It was on his webinar, and the lady was asking about it some years back. And just a couple of weeks back, before that interview, they had it with him, the CEO, chairman of the board, the dude who used to own Microsemi, and her. If you guys look, he says it on there. So it's not exactly world exclusive. So when you say that and you get shit for it, it makes it look like a pump. And that's what happened. If you guys look at the chart, I was in it before he did that. That's why I was excited about it. I try to help him, you know, with questions, but who the fuck am I? He asked about NVIDIA. NVIDIA is a chumps game for as much as I know right now. Software, second dimension of where this is all going. The free energy principle. That's where the P2874 spatial web protocols come in for you guys who are not up on the technical side of this shit. Well, hardware was needed to get this started, obviously. Well, now software is going to take over, and they haven't really been doing a lot. They have a whole thing, too, like their own little type of metasphere with their own gadgets, but active inference, where everything AI is trained in real time. Like, it doesn't need big training. It can just go out and look for it. Yeah, like a real agent. And the only one I know is close to it is the guy who came up with the math for the free energy principle, Carl Friston. But see, there's a prime example of what you can do when you got something good and you pump it up. He had a reason. It was a death sentence last year to be a startup. It was just bad. So he did what he could, and I get it. But he lied too much, and he didn't think people would catch it versus AI. But the scientist is actually who came up with the math. Free energy principle has been out there for a while, but he's the one who figured it out. He also figured out the math equations for MRI so we could use MRI machines. Imagine that. That guy there. Yeah. Anyways, that's the next phase. So unless NVIDIA is really involved on there, and Gartner said they're one of them, but Versus and another one is involved in it, they're on the trigger phase right now. They ain't shit. That's why all the billionaires are dumping, because if they dump all together, who's going to prop up their stock? So while their banks and everybody else gets out of their positions via hedge funds, whoever else they loan out money to, and this is a lot for the yen trade too, don't get it twisted. you guys got to hold it up until it's worth shit, and then you guys got to take the fall. It's just how it is, and until you know that, they're just gonna keep getting away with it. And I mean, it's good shit. Don't get me wrong, and it's been working. If it's been working for you, I don't know. I would have been shorting a video a year ago. So the market can be unreasonable longer than you have money. Just put it that way. I haven't done it. I don't have cash like that to be short in stock like that, but I would have. Because edge computing, you don't need NVIDIA chips.
And the ability to connect millions of devices seamlessly. It's going to fuel the future of smart cities, autonomous vehicles, and IoT devices, allowing them to communicate in real time. However, 5G rollout isn't without hurdles. High
No.
costs of infrastructure and regulatory issues in some regions have slowed down implementation. By 2026, the 5G market is expected to be valued at $667.90 billion, with the US, China, and South Korea leading the change. The challenge? Cybersecurity risks and data.
Oh, they're gonna throw a commercial in there. Straight bogus. Okay. Sorry guys, I had to take a little drink of my coffee and a smoke break during that commercial break. I know that was a little over the top, but whatever. That's my beehives I covered up so smoke don't get on them. They're covered in beeswax, and I don't want the smell of smoke to interrupt my bee harvesting in the springtime next year. Or at all. I don't want to infect the bees at all. So, anyways, check it out. This is the next stop, and I'm sorry it's shaky. Like I said, smoking and drink coffee.
The Internet of Things, IoT, is all about creating a connected network of physical devices, from smart refrigerators to industrial sensors
I didn't mean to drop
that
you.
collect and exchange data. IoT applications are driving efficiency in industries like healthcare, manufacturing, and transportation, but security vulnerabilities are a growing issue. With more devices getting connected, cyber attacks targeting IoT systems have surged. Despite these challenges, the IoT
Look at
market is
that.
forecasted to reach 1.6.
Okay, now check that out. That's already there, right? All this ties in with them because it's just connectivity, right? The connectivity issue, security. Well, at lower wavelengths, it's easy to tap into that, right? Not no more. You can't with them. As I've told you, Russia is the top at that, and they still use their technology, which tells me they wouldn't be. They'd have something else, and they wouldn't say nothing about it. That's it. It's all. Unless that's this, and then either way, they got to keep it going, keep the facade going, right? But that's not this. Okay, and there's another reason stocks go up and down and all around. Um, when day traders see it, they could pump it up, push it down, but to be above $1, usually short positions are 50 cents at a time, and there's a penalty to be under $1 for so many days, and on the Nasdaq. So it gets them to have to reverse split shares, and it just really tears the company up, and they can really go in and get it for cheap, especially a company like this. Me personally, I did what I could. I called the SEC, they called me back, and they said they were going to check into it. They wanted to know if I wanted to be on some kind of list with an award and be anonymous. I said, if you get this, you donate that to somebody and make sure my name's out there. Anonymous my ass.
Edge computing.
This is the one.
Edge computing brings data processing closer to the source of data, reducing the latency and bandwidth issues associated with cloud computing.
Okay. It reduces the latency and bandwidth. It also reduces the... Oh, I almost dropped it there. Sorry about that. It also reduces the bandwidth and latency issues. Like it said, I just repeated that. I know, but the chips, I mean, NVIDIA chips. It means there's no data center, not going back to there. There's not going to be hundreds of thousands. That was only the first phase. This, like I said, software was all... You guys got to check out the Gartner Hype Cycle for those of you who have never checked it out. Interested in AI plays and 5G and all that, because it's all connected in one, especially now. All this protocols that are coming out, the top 100 companies in the world, not to mention that everybody in the world will do it because it's just smart. And Abu Dhabi's like already doing it. So Alex Kipman and Versus went over there and they're already doing pilots. And I mean, it's just, they're rocking on this shit already. Versus just messed their stock up because he pumped it up, lied about some stuff, release dates, how far they were. They had it, but they had it on paper, and he put it that they had it, gonna get released in a program called GIA, and the program never came. And then you hear him switch the words up from have it to early evidence, and if you don't watch out for that, that's the puffery. That right there, straight illegal. But that's how close puffery comes. And what that means is they can lie as much as possible without being it illegal. That's all that means. Penny stocks are very dangerous in this aspect. So they're going to do this. Don't always buy at one time. Buy 500 if you're going to buy 1,000. I always do. I get a target price. Stocks that pump up over 100% to $1.50 usually fall between $1.30, $1.35. The lowest I'll get in is $1.25. I'll buy at $1.30, $1.25, and dump out. I've been happy I've done that more than I've been dissatisfied. It's always usually went the other way, the bad way, which is so dangerous about this range right here. But it's doing good. It's just it's an easy target, unfortunately. And I don't know if I mentioned this because, like I said, smoking. The stock didn't go up until the news was released. Rocket Labs. It went down for like a week. You got to be careful. Like, I bought more because I could, but what about the people who are like, damn, dude? And you did make a lot of money if you stayed in. But see, that's puffery. If you look at the stock chart, after his interview, I can't remember what it was. You have to look it up. You can find it. It goes straight down that, it traded down that night and the next day and the next day. And then Russia hit that missile, right? It started getting some action. And then they hit it with that Rocket Lab thing. Then it got mixed in the news with Rocket Lab because they bought spacecraft connectors. It doesn't mean I'm not happy at all. You just gotta be careful. There's no need to pump this company. That's the point. If there's any point, you don't need to, Mr. Lucas. Bad form, sir. Bad form. This is all what's going on, and that's what they don't tell you. The rich people and all those billionaires that you can see that are dumping their positions in NVIDIA. Now, why would the richest people who got this thing going be dumping billions in stock if it was all kosher and that was what's going on? This is just what they do. It's the game. And until somebody does something or we all actually like stick together when there's not a famous cat around, then it's going to stay like this. Because whoever gets in whatever kind of position authority, there's too much money at stake. If they correct it, they will crash the system. When you look at your account, I'll give mine an example. E-Trade. You see all those shares? Like, say a company has 3 million outstanding shares and 200 million shares that they get traded, right? Those are called derivatives. In 07, they had derivatives called those CDOs. Anybody who wasn't alive remember what derivatives did back then? Now, that was on junk loans where actual people, most of the time, had to file a loan. They got ninja loans, no job, no income verification. Crashed the whole economy because small banks could buy a bunch of those, put a bunch of those in the market, knowing by Monday a big bank would buy a whole package of them without looking. So it didn't really matter if those people qualified or not because they weren't on the hook. And that's the truth. And now they're doing it with shares, pushing F2 only. So can you imagine how bloated the system is? That's why they can't fix it right now. Because if they do that, 10, 15 people to each share would be very hard to compensate. And they're supposed to have some kind of lever for this or some kind of safety net for this. They blew past that like they always do because they're greedy. They just can't help it. And it's not even their money. So even if you have extra money, which you most of the time have to get money to put in the stock market on your own, they're getting whatever taxes from 401k or whatever you're doing to kill whatever company you're trying to invest in. That's the system. You got to be careful. And I'm just being honest. We're just smoking, drinking coffee. I'm holding you watching TV. It's just a little education. And on the 16th, I can day trade again. I got that PTD, pattern day trading. So there's a trick to that now that E-Trade settles every day. You just take your count off margin.
It's particularly important for time-sensitive applications like self-driving cars and industrial automation, where real-time data is critical.
I'm not losing track on that, but another connectivity, there's chip that does the algorithm reconstruction. Imagine what it does, the set and forget for the javelins. What could it do for a car? If you can fire a missile at something knowing it's going to target that, not something else, what would you be able to do with a car? I don't know that this is the case. I thought that was the connection, honestly. Christ, I was pissed when it wasn't. So, and a lot of other people were too. And like I said, he got the stock notice, and I like him for that. That was awesome. Nobody else was talking.